Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this open house with Nucamp. I am Ludo Farage, founder and CEO of Nucamp. And with me today, I have Zendra Kubota, who is one of our instructor and I would say magician with us as well. Zendra, hi.
Hey, hi everybody. How's it going?
Hello. All right. So let me give you a rundown of what you can expect from this hour. Zendra and I are going to go through a few slides that are going to introduce you to Nucamp, what we do, how we do it, our graduates, and how we help people get a new job. That's going to be for the first 30 minutes, during which you can ask your questions either in the YouTube chat. Hello, Cedric. Or on the Facebook feed as well. So you may be watching either on YouTube or on Facebook. Ask your questions there because the last 30 minutes, we're going to spend them answering them. So, hey, Ashley, hey, Cedric. So yeah, ask your questions. We are live and we will be answering them in 30 minutes. All right, so let's get started. So first question, what is Nucamp? Well, we are a coding bootcamp, but we are slightly different coding bootcamp compared to all the ones that you are probably familiar with. The first thing that differentiates us is really our social mission of providing access to technology education to everyone, everywhere in the US, no matter where they live, no matter their background, no matter as well if they have a job or not. It's really about bringing that opportunity to everyone in the US. And we do that by being, I would say, the most affordable. If you've looked us up before, if you compared our tuition to other coding bootcamps, you'll probably see that we are the most affordable one. And many of you who do that also wonder, how is that possible? Is this real? And so we're going to answer that question today. And what's great about Nucamp as well is not only we are the most affordable, but we are also the most rated. So we've really figured out a way to provide affordable education without sacrificing quality. And so you will see, and you can read our reviews online, that we actually provide, for that cost, a very high level of quality. We are right now number one rated, I would say, in the top 4 for the US with a 4.76 rating and over 600 reviews. So the way that you can think of Nucamp is really bringing the boast of online learning on one hand and traditional coding bootcamp on the other hand. And really Nucamp sits in between. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. So if you think of online learning, you probably think of something that's very accessible. You can go online from anywhere and start to learn to become a web developer. It's that easy. What's great about online learning as well is it's very inexpensive. You can go to sites like Udemy or edX or Coursera and just pay $30 a month and you have access to very high quality content. So these are the great things about online learning. The not so great things about online learning is there's a lack of support. And I would say that most actually of our students have tried online learning on their own before joining Nucamp. Because even though it's available and you'll find like thousands and thousands of students are taking online learning at any point in time, there is really not a good way for you to have your question answered. You don't have an instructor, you are not really part of a classroom. And so that leads to an average of 3% of the population of online learners able to complete their learning journey. Only 3% are capable of really learning on their own online. And so that's obviously a major drawback for just trying to do it on your own online. Now, if you look at the other side of the spectrum, you have what I will say traditional coding bootcamps. And there's a lot of great things to say about traditional coding bootcamps. One is typically you're going to be full-time. So you're going to be in a real school environment, 8 a.m. through actually very often it's very intensive. So 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's going to be super intense. You're going to be with other people, with an instructor, with students. And that experience is very rewarding. The big drawback, though, is it's very rewarding if you can afford it. And when I think about affordability, it's really about, of course, can you pay the tuition? Those traditional coding bootcamps will have tuitions in the ranges of 10,000 to 20,000. Some actually are charging you 30,000, even more than that. And so it's a big question. Can you actually spend that amount of money on sometimes that's just 3 months or 4 months? So if you think in college terms, that means you're paying $60,000 a year or something like that. It's a big chunk of money. Then the second thing is, in terms of affordability, can you actually put aside your current job, if you have one, and just enjoy that full-time experience? Because, of course, to join full-time, you'll have to be free and available full-time. And we know that 80% of our current students still have their job. They don't want to take the risk of quitting their jobs just to go into a boot camp and take that level of risk. So again, great opportunity, great experience if you're one of those who actually can afford that, can afford the tuition, can afford the risk of quitting your job and join full-time. So Nucamp. Well, from the beginning, what we've really wanted to achieve was bringing the best of those two worlds together. The affordability of online, how easy it is to get in, the flexibility around it, but also bring the best of the traditional bootcamps, which is a very strong structure. It's intense. You have support, you have an instructor, you have classmates, and you meet also in person, well, that was before COVID, on Saturday mornings. So really, it's the best of those two worlds that we bring together in Nucamp to deliver that very unique formula, I will say, in the industry today. And the tuition, as I said, our 22 weeks bootcamp is $1,765 right now, so less than $2,000 with a payment plan and all that. So we'll get to that. Okay, quick information about the Nucamp history. We started in 2017 in Washington State. We've expanded throughout the US ever since. We've registered 400,000 unique students. We've launched more than 1,000 student bootcamps. We have 250 very qualified instructors working and delivering bootcamps with us. And on a given Saturday, you've heard me talk about the Saturday workshops. We have 90 workshops delivered every Saturday across the US. And as I mentioned, if you go to Course Report or SwitchUp or Career Karma, you'll find that our students and graduates really, really, really enjoy what we have to offer them, not just the tuition, but also the actual experience of learning with us. All right, COVID-19 changed a few things. Mainly, I will say our Saturday workshops that were meant to be in person from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Saturday are now on Zoom. It's the same workshop. You're still with 12 students, still with your instructor. And Mohim, I see your question on Nucamp graduate students. We have actually an answer to that later in the deck. So hang tight. We'll get to that. So great experience. We do hope to go back to in-person, and actually as a student, you will be able to go back to in-person whenever we can, which nobody knows when, but we are ready to go back to in-person in 35 cities in the US. Not every city in the US, but at least 35 in the US, we will be ready to go back to in-person when we can. So we have 3 bootcamps really tailored to your level of expertise, I will say. The very first one, the beginner bootcamp, is 4 weeks. It is not meant to prepare you for a job. Let's be clear with that. In 4 weeks, there's no way you can acquire enough knowledge to then think you can become a web developer and apply for a job as a web developer. So what that 4 weeks bootcamp does really, it's preparing you and giving you all the baseline information around HTML, CSS, and JavaScript so that you can continue on one of the 2 advanced bootcamps that we have. These 4 weeks is not a requirement. You don't have to take it. We have a test that will allow you to check if you have the minimum knowledge before you sign up for either the front end or the full stack. The front end and mobile development bootcamp, just like the name indicates, it's focusing on the front end, and Zandra will go into the details. It lasts 17 weeks and it costs $1,372. There's no hidden fee, no hidden cost. That's the price. And then a full stack web and mobile development bootcamp adds the backend element to our program and costs $1,765 for just 22 weeks. And as you can see at the bottom of that slide, we offer free financing right now. So you don't have to pay the whole cost upfront. You're going to pay $350-ish when you register, and then 3 or 4 times after that, you're going to pay that same amount every month. So that really, it makes it much more manageable to pay the tuition. And that's it. That's how much you have to pay. You don't have to sign a contract, a scary contract that says, hey, you're going to owe us $20,000 in a year or so. So we're pretty proud of that. So the experience as a student is very straightforward. From Sunday to Friday, and we include Sunday, you can expect to learn every day of the week. You're going to learn online. And that's really the level of flexibility that we offer you. Being a part-time program, you won't have to quit your job. You're going to learn online during the week, but still with the support of your instructor online, with the support of other students, either your classmates or the broader community. And we're going to tell you precisely what we expect of you on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, so that you have a real roadmap of what you're expected to do. But you do not have set times. Like we've learned and we know that if we tell you you're going to have to attend that webcast or that workshop on Tuesday night from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., you actually may not be able to do that. That may actually conflict with maybe your job. Maybe actually you work nights. And so you do not have set times during the week. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, and we just trust you that you're going to do it. We check on you as well, but it is the level of flexibility that we offer. On Saturday, it's different. On Saturday, that's when we really have a set time that you have to attend. From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 4 hours straight, you're going to work with your instructors and your classmates on a problem. You're going to work on your project. It's going to be a challenging assignment. And this is when you're going to have all the interaction that you need with your instructor to have your questions answered, to help you debug the code and things like that. And then rinse and repeat. Every week, it's the same thing. You learn online, and then you end your week on a capstone type of event on Saturday. Workshop location, again, pre-COVID, on Saturday mornings, you would typically actually join your instructor and classmates in a nice co-working space like WeWork or Cap City in Sacramento, or across 35 US cities where we have that type of arrangements. Again, we'll get back to that when COVID, when we know we can. And so we really are looking forward to that. Okay, Nucamp instructors, that's really what makes a big difference in the life of our students. What's very special about our instructors is that they are not full-time professors. They did not quit their job in the industry to become a full-time instructor. They are active practitioners. They are still employed in a startup, in a big corporation, in a governmental agency as a web developer. They work with us because they care about giving back. And that makes a big difference because you have access throughout your journey to 3 or 4 different instructors that are going to help you understand what it takes and what it means to change careers and actually join the tech industry. They're still active, they're still practitioners, and so they're going to be great resources for you beyond, I would say, helping you with the curriculum to actually prepare for your career change. They are local to your community. So we hire instructors locally. And when we are able to actually provide the Saturday in-person workshop, they actually are from your city, from your community, which also makes it even more relevant to your job search. What's very special is they are passionate. They have a lot of empathy for what you're going through, what you're trying to accomplish. As I said, they already have a job, so they do that on the side. They spend the time with you online during the week because they care. They spend the time on Saturdays because they care. We compensate them, obviously, but they're not doing that for the money. They're really doing it because they want to give back and because they have a passion for helping others. And again, that's a big difference. It's not their job, it's their passion. And they come from rich and very diverse backgrounds. You're going to find instructors who are working in a startup. You're going to find instructors that are freelance. You're going to find some that are working for a governmental agency or Fortune 500. And that's going to bring you a really rich set of perspectives, again, when it comes to finding a new career. All right, this was my part. I'm going to hand it over to Zandra now, who's going to tell you a little bit more about becoming a web developer and focus on our curriculum. Zandra, all yours.
All right. Hey, thanks very much, Lido. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual course. So JavaScript is the top language if you're working in the web development field. They do a survey every year and survey developers, and JavaScript wins by a mile, as you can see by the chart on the side. So that's what Nucamp is going to teach you. Plenty of vitamin J so you can get your skills boosted. And it's going to be, depending on your area where you live and the job market companies available, you're going to be looking at an average across the country of 70,000 to enter the field as a junior web developer. There's some variation, again, depending on where you live and what companies you get into. And depending on your background before you came to Nucamp, you might have a skill that pairs very nicely with web development or is particularly attractive to an company you're applying for, so it could be higher. And we have a lot written about that at Nucamp's blog, so definitely check it out. And we see here a lovely chart of what you're going to experience the stages going through Nucamp. So if you're joining us and you are a beginner, welcome. You're in the right place. The Web Fundamentals class is for you. It's going to take you through HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And this is the backbone of the web, well, from a GUI side or from a graphical or from a user side anyway. For the past, I don't know, 20 years, your house is kind of built with like joists and frames and, the foundation, that's the HTML. The CSS is like the carpet, the drapes, the paint, and the JavaScript is like the plumbing and the wiring. So that's a little bit less gross than my skeleton and muscle example. So this is what you're going to learn, and you're going to have enough by the time you finish that 4-week class to move on to our either full stack or front end. And now, as you can see by the blue arrows on this slide, the front end course is kind of nested in the full stack course. So you're gonna, if you take the full stack course, you're gonna learn everything plus the back end things. So the first course is Bootstrap. It's a framework for CSS that it kind of helps you with shorthand, or like not shorts, but kind of helps you write CSS a lot more quickly. Developed by Twitter, and the main benefit of Bootstrap is it helps you build pages that are responsive. And when we say responsive, we mean that they flow into the container that they're shown in, like water. So if you're on a phone, your page is automatically going to be mobile size. If you're on a tablet, it's automatically going to be tablet size. If you're on a, large display TV, new 4K, whatever, your page is going to expand to fill that space, and the fonts are going to adjust to the right size, and the images are going to adjust, scale up or scale down. So that's what we call responsive. And at this point, your web pages, your coding project from these two courses, your pages are going to be pretty dumb. They will be cool, and we had some amazing products come out of the last HTML class. Some of the games that they made were really cool, but not really super interactive. You can't really change. The page doesn't really change. It's called a static page. So the next course is the React course. React is made by Facebook. It's open framework for building JavaScript pages. And it's dynamic. It's no longer static. It's going to be, the user going to be interacting with the page, and based on what the user does, the page is actually going to change. And so now it's responsive and dynamic. And this is going to be a huge boost for your resume. I know many of you maybe have been stuck before you get to the framework, or you kind of gave up at JavaScript. This course is going to push you through. You're going to be motivated to complete your projects every Saturday. And you're going to work on React every single week. Next course, the last course in the front end section, is React Native. This is a framework for building for mobile devices. And it's cross-platform. You'll learn different tools to work with React Native effectively, and you'll be able to deploy an app to the App Store or to the Play Store. And this is pretty much the front end portion. Now, if you stay with us for Fullstack, you will go on to learn the server side of things in our Node.js course. So you'll learn Node, Express, and MongoDB. And Node is kind of like an engine that displays or that runs JavaScript, but without being in a browser. So you'll Node, if you'll do a job search, you go to any one of those job search websites and type in Node.js, you'll see, it's pretty good requirement. MongoDB, a lot of, startups and large companies use MongoDB. It's really popular. So you're getting to learn how to manipulate data, databases, how to build a in kind of environment where the user's information is saved, their avatars, their passwords. That's the authentication side of things. So that is where you could call yourself, after you graduate there, a full stack developer. And we're really going to congratulate you. You have a graduation session after that. So what do you have in your portfolio after you graduate? Here's an example of some of the projects that our students have completed, and they're able to post these to their own websites. We'll help you with that and show them to potential employers. So Ludo, if you could show a project to the viewers.
It will be my pleasure. Let's get to it. Come on. There we go. So you can do just like me, and I'm going to share the screen. You can go to our channel on YouTube. You can subscribe to it, by the way. We have playlists there. And we have students project playlist here, and we're adding new project in the playlist every 5 weeks. Let me actually pick one that I really liked. Very impressive. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. Where is that one? Decision maker, coffee stand. This one. All right.
Hey everyone, my name is Feroz. I'm
Nice.
the full stack at Nucamp, and I just finished my front end part, and I'm happy to present my portfolio project, which is called Smart Decision. This app is for people who want to keep track of their decision making and avoid potential mistakes. Basically, how this works is you have a problem, you create a record of it in your app, and then you come up with a solution, and you also make an entry for that. So over time, when your problem is either solved or not, you go back to the decision you made and evaluate it so that in the future, if you come across the similar problem, you can
Let
go
me
back to
fast
your
forward to
decisions
a
and
few
see
things
my
to
app
show the code that is built.
decisions, archive decisions, and evaluate decision-making skills. Here are my current decisions. I have buying a new car, friend nights out, renting out a part of my space, lending money to my friend. Every decision can be expanded just like that. And it's actually truncated to 100 characters, but we can expand it and see the priority of this problem or this decision, the problem itself, the solution I came up with, and later on we can jump to evaluating it, editing it, or it would be
Let me add a few
buying
things.
PlayStation 4. Problem, I want to buy I still validation methods, and you can see that it must be at least 10 characters. And if I go back here and delete it,
So that's just one example of a project. I was looking for one as well. We have someone just on the last graduation that was on Monday who built an actual chess game with real-time communication between the two players over the internet. That was pretty darn impressive. So you may actually find it. Look up our YouTube channel and look up the chess game. Really impressive stuff. And I know we have a few questions on YouTube regarding portfolio projects. We'll get to them in about 10 minutes now. But you have some insights here. All right, back to you, Zandra.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed the chess one. Man, well, I'm gonna have to check it out. So the bootcamp schedule. Don't worry about if you miss the schedule. That's the main takeaway. One of the takeaways from this slide, you'll see there's plenty of classes available. This is going to look different depending on your community that you select at the website. But you want to register in your area. As Ludo said, we might go back to in person. We really don't know. The situation's fluid. If you're registered in your area, you get to know your local instructor, you get to know your local alumni, your local classmates who are be your network locally. But if you can't, you can use one of the online Eastern Central or Pacific classes. And the main takeaway from this slide is don't miss the early bird discount. So you're going to get about 15% off our already very good rates if you register 2 weeks before the class starts. 2 weeks or greater before the class starts. So the next one coming up is October 19th for our main boot camps. And that should do it. So next is the scholarships. A lot of you I've spoken with on the phone perhaps, or I've emailed you guys and you're interested in the scholarships. I point everybody to this link to get the full information. You can go to nucamp.co and click on scholarships to find out more. There is still some fund available, so definitely apply, register and apply for that. It's partnership with Career Karma. And then we also have a high school graduate back to coding scholarship. So you graduated high school, things are pretty crazy and uncertain. What should you do? Should you go to college? Are you ready for college right now? Are you not sure? Why not learn how to code and take advantage of this scholarship?
All right, and we had a question about our graduates and the employment rate. So we're happy to actually communicate on that. We've been crushing the numbers and waiting for people to let us know. But what we're seeing after more than 300 responses from our graduates is that 78% are employed 3 months after they graduated. We're pretty pleased with that. It's a great number. It's also a very realistic number. And it's a very truthful number as well, and we're proud of sharing it right now. You should know that 75% of our students end up graduating. Some students are dropping out because it's not for them, or they can't keep up, or they just decided to do that. But we're also very happy with that number, especially given the level of flexibility that we offer to students. we are really aware that life can happen. And so we offer to any students the opportunity to retake a module, a 5-week module, for just $39. So if life gets crazy, if you feel like you're falling behind, you're in the middle of React, you can actually pause your bootcamp for 5 weeks and then restart it for just $39. The next time you do that, if it happens again, it's going to be $79 to restart a module. It's never going to be more than $79, and you can do it over and over and over. And so we're very happy with that offer as well. Something that, again, is not necessarily available to other coding bootcamps. We're also announcing new and career services, and in particular, we are just adding now one-to-one career coaching, as well as an exclusive job board. So when you graduate, you are assigned to a career coach who is typically one of our instructors. That career coach is going to present to you a ton of material that's going to help you prepare your resume, maintain your Git, plan for networking and all that. And you will have an opportunity to meet with that advisor via Zoom for 30 minutes, and you can schedule that actually at your convenience. And so that's something we're just adding. So if you registered today and you graduate in 6 months, we would have had a ton of experience running that program. So you should feel good about that. We already had hackathons. We already had a 6 weeks career development program, still there, obviously. We're adding an exclusive job board. And that one is very important because every month we are reaching out proactively to approximately 1,000 companies and HR managers via direct messages. We run ads and we ask them to push their job opportunities to us. It's important because the ones who do that, and we actually start to see a good amount of companies doing it. When they do that fully understanding that they are seeking and are okay to hire a junior web developer just graduated from Nucamp Coding Bootcamp. And so they're actually showing great intent and interest in hiring you as a junior web developer who just graduated. And so that's why it's very important for us to do that. And so we're also launching that now, and we're starting already to see companies and HR managers leveraging that opportunity. So if you, again, sign up today, in 4 months or 5 months, it'll be a ton better after running through a few months. We had LinkedIn Premium and LinkedIn Membership already, and we've always offered our students lifetime access to the learning environment. So whenever we upgrade our code or the courses or the modules, you have access to that. And you also have lifetime access to the community, which is a really big deal because you can always ask questions, find partners, and things like that. All right, and we are now ready to answer your questions. Please go to YouTube, the chat window, and we're going to take some there. Go to Facebook as well. If you're watching us on Facebook, ask your questions on Facebook. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Zendra and myself are now ready to answer your questions. Zendra, is there one that you would like to answer at this time?
Yes, I saw, I think it was Brad on YouTube, Brad Burke, who says that he has to work on Saturdays. And he's asked if there was a 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. session, or opined about a 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. session. Sorry, Brad, we don't have a 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. session. We have a lot of flexibility with how you study during the week. So however you want to manage your time during the week, that's where the flexibility lies. So we understand, students are working, but the Saturday 9 a.m. Workshop is the only fixed time part of the course. Now, if you you could sign up in another time zone, if that might give you some flexibility. You just have to be really careful with the time differences. And maybe you can work out your schedule like shifts on your job, or however you can work it out so that you can be present for the workshops, because they're really a huge part of Nucamp.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you look at the time zones, depending on where you are, Eastern, Central, Pacific, you can play around with those times. I'm going to take the question from HeyHapMo36. Are we going to use libraries on JavaScript like Moment, Cook APIs for Google Map? Yes, we're going to teach you how to use libraries. Not necessarily these ones, but we actually have students who've used Google Maps as well in their project portfolio. We're going to teach you how to use REST APIs. So yeah, we are going to cover all that. Do you see one that you want to take?
From ehabmo36 on YouTube, are we learning Git and Postman? Yes, Ludo, I believe they're using Postman, right?
Oh yeah, last module, the backend module, we're learning Postman.
Node, and you're definitely going to learn Git starting from the first part of the front end class. That's great, and that's a good skill to learn. I think a lot of people use Postman.
So Jaqueta Cook is asking about developing an app to bring it to market, and if she will be able to work on that during the bootcamp. The answer is absolutely. So you're going to be taught how to build an app using React Native, and you're going to be asked to work on the learning project, but also your own project. You're going to have an opportunity as well to bring in other students along with you and work collaboratively on that project if you wanted to. So that's one of the great things about the program. I'm going to take Jessica James as well. How does the instructor support you Sunday through Friday if there isn't a set schedule? So the instructor is available on Slack, also via direct messages. And so the instructor will actually let you know, hey, I'm typically checking my Slack late at night or during the day. I can also answer questions. Some instructors are scheduling office hours, not all of them. So it really depends. What we ask instructors is to be available in a 4-hour window for their students during the week. But I would say what's very special is how much the community actually chimes in and is available to help you as well. So very often you'll see that your question was answered even more rapidly by the community itself of other students or another instructor than by your own instructor during the week. So the response time really is very fast during the week. And then, of course, you have your instructor live on Saturdays.
Okay, I see another question from Jessica. I have a computer tower, but not a laptop. What are the requirements? So great question. Since we're all online now, you really don't have to have a laptop. But if we were to go back to in person, suddenly you would want to have a laptop standing by so that you could attend a Saturday workshops. And I'm really not one for all the conspicuous consumption, but you might get some good deals coming up this season with laptops really shortly. And the requirements are an i5 processor, something preferably within the last 3 years. And if you have MacBook Air or MacBook Pro from the last few years, should be fine. You want to have a solid state drive, and you have at least 8 gigabytes of memory, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take a question on Facebook from Darius Culpepper. What will be the best advice for a person with zero experience with coding to persevere throughout a bootcamp? I would suggest to start online first. If you have zero experience, you actually want to get a taste before committing to any type of bootcamp. You want to do a few tutorials, you want to take a few courses, and you want to check if you actually like it. Now, assuming you've done that, assuming you have actually validated that's something you're really interested in, then I would say take the 4 weeks bootcamp. It's very low in terms of risk taking. And it's going to also validate that you like our approach to teaching you, that you like the 4 weeks. And what's great about those 4 weeks is it starts pretty easy, but then the last 2 weeks are spent on JavaScript, and we actually challenge students quite a bit. So you're going to be able to know, okay, do I like that challenge? Am I actually rising through that challenge? Is it too hard for me? So you're going to be able to check all that as well. And then finally, I'll say, just like, I mean, anyone with or without experience, you'll want to be prepared and be planful. You want to make sure that you take this commitment to attend the bootcamp, quote unquote, seriously, in the way that you plan your day, you plan your week. One of the things we ask students who just joined us was to actually have a conversation with your family and friends and let them know that, hey, I'm not going to be as available as I used to on Sundays and on Saturdays and throughout the week, because I'm going to need to spend any free hour and turn that into a learning hour. So make sure that you realize that it's an intense experience that are going to require of you to really commit yourself and be planful, to set aside maybe your social life a little bit to really spend that time to learn.
Okay, I see one from Katie O'Connor on YouTube, and I'm going to skip the sequel question there on YouTube. Maybe you could take that one,
Sure, I'll do
Ludo.
it. I'll do that one.
Where is the quiz we mentioned to evaluate our skills? I have a little experience. That is super great, Katie, that you have a little experience. So good job on you learning some of the basics. So you can go to url.nucamp.co /test yourself, or we could paste that into the YouTube if you're.
I just pasted it. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, so you can go there, and if you score about an 85 or above, without guessing, no guessing, you should be totally fine to start the front end or full stack. And if you score less than 85, don't worry about it. You have time before the class starts to get that score up higher. You can still go ahead and register if you're on the line, and just brush up on those before the class starts.
Yeah, it's great advice. Yeah, it's a very simple, straightforward test, but it gives you a really good idea where you are in your skills. I'm going to take a question before taking the sequel one on Facebook again from Galata. Do you guys provide a laptop? We do not, but we have a partnership with Career Karma and their Reskill America initiative to actually do that. So look up our scholarship page and the Reskill America scholarship. Part of that is actually giving you a laptop as well if you qualify, along with a scholarship to join Nucamp. So check that out, nucamp.co, and maybe I'm going to type it as well, https://scholarships, and you'll have all the information about that one. Now, let me take the SQL question, Zandra. So why Nucamp didn't teach SQL? In the US, SQL is more famous than MongoDB, if I'm not wrong. It's true in some ways. SQL has been around the IT world almost forever. I will say 40 years ago, it was there. That's the oldest way to store and retrieve data. It's a fantastic way. Tons of systems, as you say, are you running on SQL. MongoDB is a little bit more modern. It didn't exist when SQL existed. It was, I would bet, I'm going to say mistake, but maybe it's like 20 years old. So it's still quite a bit old. Or the NoSQL type of data storing is probably 20 years old or something. Someone would actually do a Google for me and see if I'm wrong. But it's more modern because it's more scalable. It plays very nicely in the cloud. And so we've decided to teach MongoDB because, again, even though it doesn't have all the historical adoption of SQL, it is the more modern way of managing data. And you'll find that most apps or websites that are out there are actually shifting to that. Now, there's no wrong choice. You can definitely build something today using SQL. It's just what we decided to go with.
Okay, so I see 2 questions. One, we kind of already mentioned Cedric C will be using GitHub, yes, and that's going to be a big part of your job search too. You're going to have your own Git repos, and we're going to help you uh, optimize your Git page profile for recruiters and employers. And the other question was from Taurus Huling on YouTube. What is your policy on late assignments? So we're pretty flexible with students. We understand things happen. And if 2020 has been any indication, stuff just can jump off at any time. So um, you are allowed to resubmit if your score was not low. So I always encourage the students, just submit what you have. At least, you get something in there. And if you don't have a passing score that week, you can resubmit it and your instructor will let you work on it some more till you can pass.
Yeah, I'll just add to that, Zendra, that passing your assignment is a requirement to complete the bootcamp and to graduate. And so every Saturday you work on that assignment. We ask that you do your best to submit it that day on Saturday, but then we're flexible. And you have to pass all assignments to continue through and to actually ultimately graduate. So that's an important thing to understand.
And
Let me take,
Miles,
yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Miles Lewis, what are the expectations of knowledge for the fundamentals course? So yes, Miles, great question. You need to be using an operating system of some sort for about a year or so. You want to be familiar with your S because you don't want to have to learn how to use a computer and learn the basics of web development at the same time. So you have to know basic computer skills, how to unzip a file, how to download a file, copy a file, navigate between folders, make folders, and that's pretty much the basic. And no Chromebooks. We unfortunately can't support you if you have a Chromebook.
Yeah. Bethany Wang has done the math and she's like, hey, hold on, 4 courses, 4 to 5 weeks long. How does that add up to 22 weeks? There's a week break in between. So that's 17 weeks of instruction. We call it instruction week. And then you have a week of kind of a break in between, during which actually students work on their own project. And so that brings up the total to 22 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hey, Angelina.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Angelina
Go ahead.
D.
No,
Hi,
go
I
ahead.
think you
Go ahead,
jumped on the
Zendra.
phone.
Yeah, there's a little bit of delay, but
Angelina,
go ahead.
hi. I'm so glad you joined us. Yeah. You have 0 skills in this, though. I remember, Angelina, you have some substantial skills that will dovetail nicely with coding. So you can join our fundamentals class as long as you can operate your computer with ease. I would say try to join the fundamentals class.
Right. Cedric is asking, is there a discount for Fullstack if you actually also sign up for web development first? There is not, unfortunately. What we do have, though, is as a student, you have a referral code. So if you send that code to a friend and that friend signs up for Fullstack, then you get $50 back. You can do that up to getting $1,000 back from us. So if you have a great network and lots of friends who want to take web development, who want to take full stack, you may actually have them end up paying a big portion of your tuition by just sharing your referral code. So think about that. I'll take the next question. Hayo 2000, can you upgrade from front end to full stack? And the answer is yes. You can decide at any time to upgrade to full stack. And all you have to do is pay the difference in tuition.
Okay, and Cedric's asking about accreditation badges for LinkedIn. No, we don't have accreditation badges. We do offer LinkedIn Premium 1 month for the students, and LinkedIn Learning comes with that. So you could score some of your own LinkedIn credits or LinkedIn uh, accomplishments that way. We also see, if you check out our LinkedIn page, Nucamp Bootcamp on LinkedIn, you can see our alumni. A lot of them have posted and shared their certificates, the stuff that they've achieved with Nucamp. So Cedric, yes, you do get a certificate, and you can post that on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I was going to say you can post your course certificate, your bootcamp certificate. Every 5 weeks when you finish a module, you can have a little badge that shows that as well. Brad is asking about 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. time slot for Saturdays. Yes, we will consider. It's a challenge from an operation standpoint from us to be able to have that kind of time slot. But that's certainly something we are going to look into, especially, I would say that's something we will be more able to offer online than in person, obviously. But I can't tell you when we're going to be able to do that, unfortunately, Brad. So, but that's actually a great suggestion. So we'll definitely look into it. All right, Zandra, do you see anything else?
See, just one more. What's the schedule for Fullstack? Let me see. Oh, that's Bethany's question about the math. Anima Sherpa, she said expert on, has experience in sysadmin. So that's great. We don't have a test that opts you out of the courses. So I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, if you could just pass the test instead of the classes. The classes are a big part of it. The community is a big part of it. We don't have a test that you're going to pass. You're building projects to show to a potential employer. So you actually gotta build. Sysadmin experience is going to help you tremendously in finding a job, I think. But yeah, you'll definitely be building.
That's right. Are the Saturday meetings mandatory? Asks Dan. Yes, they are. We do understand if you need to miss one or two, life happens, as I say, but you are expected, no matter what, to work on your project and submit the assignment for grading every week. So that's really the mandatory piece. And I'll say, if you're planning to not attend the Saturday, you will be missing so much on the value that we offer there that it may not actually be worth your while. And I'm going to answer also on Facebook, Joey, who's asking how much is the class. We call it that, but $349 for 4 weeks. I'll never remember the 3960 something for front end. That's our 17 weeks bootcamp. 1765 for full stack. And by the way, we're changing our prices slightly in 2020, and we're going to make them very easy to remember, because I don't know how we came up with that, but yeah, 1372 or something, I think.
Yeah, you're close.
But
just go to nucamp.co.
Yeah, you'll get it there. Okay, I'm the one. No, I'm the one. In the future, do you consider the classes to be in person, or
you're the one?
Yeah. Who's the one? Yeah, we're all the one. So we are hoping to bring back those Saturday workshops in person, and we don't know when. I think we're all in the same boat. We have 35 locations throughout the US with co-working spaces and partners that are just waiting to see you all. We don't know when it's going to happen, but yeah, we're hoping. Oh, I love that, Zendra. Do you check out Facebook? We have Adrienne Rees, who's currently a student, who's chiming in and sharing how much she loves what she's learning. That happens. Sometimes we have instructors as well during this call, kind of chiming in. And so thank you, Adrienne, for sharing that. Yeah, learning CSS. Good luck. It's going to be JavaScript next week. Hang tight.
Yeah. And Sai, maybe we have time for a couple more. Can one enroll in the full stack directly if one has covered basic course in HTML, JS? Yes, Sai, if you can pass the quiz, that if you scroll back in the chat, you'll see the link to the quiz. If you can get an 85 on that quiz, you're good to go. Consider yourself, you can join the Fullstack directly if you have enough JavaScript.
That's right. So Cedric is asking if you register for any course. Yeah, can you begin the coursework? So the answer is no, Cedric. We want you as a student to be part of a classroom, and the classroom advances at the same time, so that everyone is actually doing or being challenged the same way at the same time, and that creates, collaboration, and you're all troubleshooting things together. So we actually really don't recommend students who want to just skim through the content very fast and get ahead. Just like we don't want students to get behind, of course. So no, you're going to have to follow the structure, the path, the rhythm that we have created, so that all of you can actually experience the same thing and help one another at the same time. All right, Zendra, do you see anything else? Or maybe that's a wrap. I think if you have more questions, go ahead.
I think that's pretty much it. I think we covered the main stuff. You can still schedule a call. You can send an email.
Yeah, I'll say if you're interested in learning more, go on our website, click interested on one of our bootcamp. You're going to be assigned an advisor. Might be actually Zendra, might be Luis, might be someone else. And you'll have a chance to schedule a call as well to ask any questions one-on-one. And Sai asked how many students in one class? 12 maximum. We do not have classes with more than 12 students, and they all have one dedicated instructor. And yes, Nima, you can join web development without taking the test. You can join the first 4 weeks bootcamp. All we ask for the first 4 weeks is that you have what some people call computer literacy, meaning you know how to use the mouse, you know how to create folders, you know how to move files around. You've used the computer before for at least a year, and you're not going to have to learn that. So yeah. All right, I think that concludes our webcast today, our open house. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Zendra, for joining as well. As always, it's been a pleasure. We're available online. Chat with us on our website. And take care. Hope to see you soon in our bootcamp. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.